Hello, and welcome to the Bamboo Lab podcast with your host, peak performance coach, Brian Bosley. Are you stuck on the hamster wheel of life, spinning and spinning, but not really moving forward? Are you ready to jump off and soar? Are you finally ready to sculpt your life? If so, you've landed in the right place. This podcast is created and broadcast just for you. All of you strivers, thrivers, and survivors out there. If you'd like to learn more about Brian and the Bamboo Lab, feel free to reach out to explore your true peak level at www.bamboolab3.com.
My brother. Hey, buddy, man. It's so good to have you back on here today.
Man, I'm so glad to be back. You know what? We are brothers from another mother, and I always enjoy our talks together.
Well, so folks, to let you know, we have Geno Lechuga back on. Now, Geno was in the forefront of the podcast. He was episode number 25. We recorded back on June 28th of 2022, and it's called The Human Brain Can Accomplish Anything. And Geno and I have this, we've met one time, right, Geno?
In
person.
One time, yeah.
Yeah.
You're right.
And that was what, like maybe 4 years ago?
You know what? Yeah, it was 4.5 years ago, B. Wow.
That was crazy. And we met at the John Ball Zoo in Grand Rapids, Michigan. That's where that event was held, you know. That was at the John Ball Zoo.
Well, yeah, we had our sales meeting there. You came in, crushed it for us. And you know what? You and I knew that we're going to have a lot more history besides that day. And, you know, you fast forward 4.5 years ago, and here we are today. So that was quite the day, my brother.
It was, man. And so folks out there, Geno and I talk on the phone, Geno, probably once a month. We spend a half hour on the phone, and we talk about just about every subject there is, from health to fitness to politics to business to sales to leadership to, you know, personal development. I mean, and I thought, let's get him back on here because there's no reason why people aren't. Every one of our talks should be recorded. Really, I mean, maybe a few things could be kept out, but I could edit them.
The occasional F-bomb here.
Yeah, we could do that on air too. I mean, I've had a lot of people swear on here, but so Geno and I were talking last week, everybody, and I said, hey, buddy, when you come back, let's do another show. And I was really surprised. Geno's he's really busy at work and with his family and everything. And he said, yeah. So then I think it was maybe Friday, I texted you, let's do it next week. And you're like, yeah, let's do it. So here we are. This is officially the latest I've ever done a podcast at 5:30 on a Thursday evening. And my bedtime's normally 8 o'clock. So I called my mom like an hour ago. She says, what are you doing? And I said, I'm making coffee. She goes, what? And I had to have a cup of coffee before I got on. So,
you know what, B? We do talk once a month, and I gotta say, I really look forward to our calls. And I know you and I ping pong times back and forth until something works out. And sometimes we miss it by a week or two, but I am always so grateful for our conversations because it's not every day that you get to talk to somebody that really gives you energy. You know, and you're one of those guys for me, brother. So I just want to say thank you for being that guy for me, and for always just being there, regardless. It's a blessing. It's a bright spot on my day to just be with you, man.
I think the same way, buddy. I mean, I think I've told you before. I have a select group of people around the country that I consider my brothers, and when I talk to them, I call them brothers. And you are one of those people. I think I probably have about 8 people that I would really say are brothers, even though you have met once, and another guy who I've talked about a lot on here, Dave Dick out of Dallas, Texas. I've met him one time in 17 years, or 18. I don't know. We've known each other for a long time. And the same thing, you know, every time we talk, it's brother. Hey, I love you, man. You know, I like getting texts from you saying, hey, have a great day, brother. I love you. And that's just the kind of stuff that feeds my soul. And I was thinking, do you remember back? I don't know when it was, maybe a year ago. I sent you a pic. I think I had just lifted or something, and I sent you a pic, and I felt really buff. And I'm like, dude, I'm cutting, man. I'm really fucking cutting. And you sent me a picture of you. I'm like, you fuck. You got these abs. It looks like it come out of a magazine. I'm like, Jesus. And that might have been before I had you on the podcast, because then you came on the podcast, and here's I've heard this from so many listeners. That Geno dude actually eats oranges without peeling them. He eats them like an apple. I'm like, yeah, that's the real deal. And I'm like, everybody's like that. Dave Dickens said that dude is next level, man.
You know what's crazy? I do a lot of weird stuff. Right, my neighbors they constantly look outside at me, especially in the winter when and we'll get into this probably, but as it's cold outside, but you got to get that sun on your body, and so they look over, they're like, who is the bald dude that sits outside without a shirt and 32-degree weather? Who is that guy? But yeah, I do a lot of weird stuff.
That's my brother. That's who that is. That's Geno. I think that's a really good topic because a lot of our listeners now, just to let you know, Geno, you are episode 112. You were 25. Now we're doing 112. And as of yesterday, we have subscribers in 67 different countries, and in 1,972 cities. I'm trying to get to 2,000. I'm going to celebrate when I hit 2,000 cities. So I know we have people around the world, so not everybody faces what a lot of us are facing at least in the Northern Hemisphere, which is kind of the winter blues. It's dark. We don't, especially here in Michigan, and we do have a lot of subscribers in Michigan. We don't get a lot of sunlight this time of year. It's harder to get out. It's just cold in the Northern Hemisphere. Days are shorter. It can be a depressing time. And every time I talk to you, it's like a shot of B12. I get off the phone, I want to put my head through a brick wall. And so I'm like, man, I got to talk because everybody has goals they set this time of year. They have New Year's resolutions. And then we start off so strong and motivated. It's like that racehorse out of the gate. Then we start to, kind of fizzle out a little bit. The days they wear on us. And you always seem to have that level of physical and mental energy. And that's really why I thought, let's talk about that. Because I think there's a lot of people out there who could use this right now. And really no matter where you live. But, primarily if you're feeling any kind of in a doldrum right now, you're feeling a little melancholy. So let's just talk about that. Like for you, if you could think of what are some things you do, Geno, to number one, to keep your body energized. What are some unique things you do or whatever? Just share with us, man.
Yeah. No, I appreciate you asking. I'll give you credit real quick. I mean, 112 episodes, that's no joke. 2,000 cities you're almost at. Congratulations, man. I've listened to a lot of your podcasts, especially when you first started off and then to the middle and to now. And it's just amazing what you've done. And just the guests, man, that you've brought on this show is incredible. So I'm humbled. I am so humbled and honored to be here with you. And thanks for having me a second time around. And then, next, I do want to say, having this much energy sometimes is not easy, brother. So, yeah, especially if you're not a morning person, right? Because you and I think are very alike. We're morning people. And so, for example, my family, not one of them is a morning person. Okay. So when they get up, and I've been up for 2 hours, and they get up at 7:30, and I'm bouncing off the wall. They just want to. They even tell me this, Dad, chill, bro. It's 7:30, and I can't help it myself. So like sometimes I go from a 10, and I gotta really, really try to bring myself to that 7. Just so my family doesn't kick me out of the house. So it's not easy all the time.
It's not easy on our loved ones. Yeah, I know.
Yeah. But, I do want to give credit before I get into this. My grandpa was a big driver behind what I do now to keep my body and my mind healthy. My grandpa, my wife, Caitlin, dude, she's been awesome with it. A couple people to mention as well. I know I'm going to miss some people, but just to give credit to them, Ben Greenfield, Gary Brecka, Andrew Huberman, Peter Attia, Barbara O'Neill. I mean, the list goes on, but those are some of the main folks too that I've adapted some of their stuff. And now I'm not a doctor by any means, but I've listened to these well-qualified people and implemented, my version of what they say to do for your body. And so some of these routines might not be exact science that they preach, but I played around with a lot of them. It's taken me trials and errors, and I've just found, ways for my body to adapt to what they're saying, and that's what I'll share with you. So really, my goal, Brian, is just to connect with your listeners, man, and give them, one or two things, one or two nuggets that they could take away from this and maybe apply it to their own life. And maybe they'll be like, you know what, that Geno, he's right. He's not the craziest dude in the world. I believe what he's saying. I'm going to try it. So, I would say it goes down to the mind and then the body.
Okay.
So I'm going to start with the mind. Okay. And I'm going to give you three things that are really easy, that are free to do, completely free. But before that, I'm going to show you my foundation. Okay. So to all the points that I give you when it comes to mind and body, there's going to be a foundation. And for the mind is my family. Okay. So, first and foremost, I want to serve my family to better them in some way or another. So there's three of them. There's my wife, Caitlin, my son, Dante, and my daughter, Ava. And for all three, it actually, I got kind of lucky. It's quality time. That's what they want. Right. And so my wife wants quality time with me. And that was pretty easy, take her on a date and hold her hand and treat her like a lady. And that's real easy. My son is also very easy. He's an athlete. He's a high level basketball player. So if him and I can get on the court together, that's building that foundation that I'm going to talk about. And then my daughter is also an athlete, but she's a dancer. Now that doesn't come very natural to me, the dancing side, but man, I try my butt off to be there for her. There was one time she was learning her back handspring and she's like, Dad, please, man, just show me how to do it. Like, you just got to do it for me, and then I'll do it. And it took my whole courage. I hadn't done a back handspring in years, but man, I did it. I did that back handspring, about killed myself, but I did it. But that's the foundation. Okay, so for me personally, I have to find a foundation, and then I can kind of break it up. So my family being my foundation, and so here's the three things when it comes to mind. Anyways. The first one is meditation and prayer. Man, every morning, after my workout, which I'll get into, I go into prayer and meditation. Now some people think meditation is, you sit with your legs crossed and, you throw your hands in there and you hum and stuff, but that's not really what I'm talking about. Really, it's really just head down time, quiet time where you turn off everything and you sit there with your own thoughts. And sometimes you might think of 10 things, right? Sometimes you might think of 10 things that you just want to sit there and think about. And other times you might not think about anything. You might just sit there in silence for 3 minutes, and that's okay too. But I do think that people that are busy like us, that are professionals, it's very important to have that time to yourself and just to take a moment and really just be in your own thoughts, man. So, and to go along with that, I do pray. So I'll pray for, I don't really pray for many things, but just blessings. So I feel like on a daily basis, I'm given crazy amounts of blessings that I just got to thank our Lord and Savior for. So that would be the first thing. Any questions on that, B?
Yeah. So when you're doing this, do you just, you're by yourself? Do you close your eyes? I mean, is it in the dark or is it just, and how long do you normally do something like that?
Yeah. Great question, man. So for my meditation portion, or head down time, I can call it, that's usually a 3-minute thing. 3 to 4 minutes. Now, if I feel like I need to sit there longer than 3 to 4 minutes, I'll do that, right? But it really doesn't go any longer than 6-7 minutes.
Okay.
And man, I'm just sitting. It's after my workout, so my body is feeling good. I got those positive endorphins going, and I just sit there and I don't think about anything until that thought pops into my head. Then I start thinking about it,
mm-hmm.
and then I start thinking, if it's an issue, for example, how do I overcome that issue? I always thank myself for for being in that spot that I can have that issue, because, man, issues create strength. So I appreciate them. Right. So that would be the first thing right there.
That's a great one.
I
like the fact that you do it after you work out too, because after you work out, you just have that natural high going anyway. And you have more confidence, your body's more relaxed. I think that's a great opportunity.
Yeah, it's an essential part of my day. Being, you can get through a lot of things just by thinking about it on your own. And some people, some people will go for walks and meditate. So you don't have to sit there. I mean, you could be doing anything and meditate. So that's just how I do it.
Okay. All right. I like that. That's a good one. That's an easy one.
The second one, that's an easy one. And everything I'm going to give you is completely free, and it's easy, I think. The second one is self-positive talk. So it's really easy to call yourself a dummy, or to, downgrade your abilities or your talents. It's very easy to do that. We make mistakes on an hourly basis. Okay. That's just how we were built. So if you're constantly downgrading or having negative self-talk, that's going to reflect poorly on you as a human, as you as a father, as you as a community member, a husband, whatever. So anytime you can give yourself positive talk, man, that's what you're looking for. And, it can be whatever. I mean, you make a good workout happen. I make it a point to tell myself, nice work. Nice. Good workout, or good set, great set. You know what I mean? Or if I'm talking to one of my people on the phone and we have a great chat, I'll let myself know, man, that was a good chat. Keep that up, type of thing. So self-talk is so important. And, especially in young people, my son, he's a shooter. He's a good basketball player, and he's a great shooter. But sometimes you go in a slump as a shooter, and in any circumstance with a good shooter, you have to talk your way out of that slump. And I asked him in the summer, because he was in a shooting slump, and I said, "Hey, how's your self-talk?" And he goes, "Not good." And I said, "Okay, well, that's easy. Let's start working on that." And so him and I go shoot, and if he would miss, I'd be like, "Hey, that was a good miss. Hey, you know what? That's good. That's good. That's good arm. That's good leg work." So like just having that reassurance could completely change an outcome of an issue.
One of the things that I've learned, I don't know if you ever listened to Mel Robbins' podcast, fantastic podcast for anybody out there. Mel Robbins is a writer, speaker, thought leader, podcaster. I believe she's a #1 female speaker in the world, or at least in the country right now.
Wow.
She talked in a specific episode I listened to, 9-10 months ago, about high-fiving yourself in the mirror every morning. And the research shows, when you high-five somebody after a game or something, it's always a sign of, you've done something really well. That there's an explosion of celebration with that. And she was talking on there about her husband, who then came in the bedroom in her podcast room and just started crying, talking about how just that simple act of him high-fiving the mirror every day was a great way to set the day off by giving yourself kudos. I've been doing it now since I brush my teeth. As soon as I get up, I high-five the mirror. Look yourself in the eye and high-five it. You don't even have to say anything. It's just a quick little thing. And it's the same thing. You're telling yourself, hey, good job. You haven't done anything yet, but good job. And that it carries you forward for a little bit during the day.
100%. And I would even articulate on that a little bit further. I would say, when you go to bed, give yourself a high five too.
Amen.
Laying in bed, man, one of the most rewarding things. It's easy to think about the negative things that happen that day, but if you think about the positive things and let that be the last thing that goes through your mind as you hit the pillow, you're gonna wake up a different person if you practice that over and over and over again. I promise that will change you.
I think you're right. I think I'm going to start doing that. I've been waking up at I call it the 3 a.m. terror hour. Mm-hmm. I've been waking up at between 1 and 3 in the morning for the last 3 or 4 months. not every night, but probably 3 nights a week. And I just sit there and my mind is just going through this crazy stuff, worry and fret and scared. And it's the weirdest thing. And I get up in the morning, I write it down, here's what I've thought about. And then that tends to help. I haven't had it in the last week or two, but I think that might be part of it. I go to bed sometimes a little stressed out, a little anxiety's a little high. Just throw myself a little high five. Say, hey, you've done a good job today. Now rest.
100%. And maybe as we go through this a little bit, my wife has the same thing. Actually, she'll wake up a lot of times in the middle of the night. And when she puts some of these things into practice, and we'll get into a few more things, but it can really change that. So self-talk, right? That can go into telling yourself that you're not going to wake up during the night. When I travel overseas, I will tell myself, okay, you're going to go to bed at 10 tonight, and you're going to wake up tomorrow. And even though I'm on 8-hour time difference, right? You're going to wake up tomorrow at 5:30, just like you do every other day. And no kidding, man, if you truly believe that in your mind, it'll happen. It'll completely happen. So, a lot of people will say, man, how do you go to bed on these different time zones, and how do you get up at the same time? And I say, I just tell myself that's what I'm going to do.
You do that because you're my brother, man. You're my brother, Geno. Right. You are a next level, man.
I appreciate you, Pete. No, it's funny because it's like a muscle, right? You just got to keep working it. All of a sudden, it's muscle memory, and now you're doing it all the time, and you don't even know it.
Yeah, that's a good point. Go ahead.
The third one, man, is a big one. Okay, so I'm going to tell you what it is, and I'll explain. So, love in my heart. Okay, so love, like the Bible would say, love your neighbor, right? So I love to put that in practice. So loving your family is an easy one, right? You see them daily. It's easy to give them love, but then how do you love others? Mm-hmm. And how I do it, my brothers, is I just give back. So I've been given so many opportunities in this world by really good people. And if I didn't give back, I don't think I would be doing that justice. Okay. So I try to give back wherever I can. So I'll give you an example. 8 years ago, my family and I developed a sports camp for underprivileged children. Okay. And the camp is designed to be free, completely free, with some of the top coaches in the area. And really, this just started off as a conversation at my dinner table with my kids and my wife. And, you fast forward 8 years later, there's 350 kids that show up for this thing, man. And one year, we live probably about 20 minutes from Colorado University, CU Buffaloes. The CU Buffaloes football coach called me. I was mowing the lawn, actually. He called me, and he's like, hey, Coach Geno? And I said, yes, sir. And he goes, this is Coach McGuire over at, Coach Mack. He said, this is Coach Mack over at CU Buffaloes football. How you doing today? And I said, are you serious? I thought someone was messing with me, And he's like, yeah. And so I'd love to come and be a speaker for your camp. And so we get people like this to come to the camp and work with the kids. And that right there is a big energizer for my brain.
That's beautiful. It's so amazing, when I talk to people like you, and I'm thinking of another guy, Derek Kinney, who's a friend of mine. Again, never met the guy, but he's been on the podcast twice, and we text back and forth. He's an incredibly successful man. Not only his book, his business, plus he's on Fox, CNN, he's always on the news. He started a process called Simple Teen Success. It's a program that teaches young kids how to start life, as teenagers. How do you build your life? How do you handle money? How do you, develop leadership skills? How do you develop self-confidence? It's always these people who have this abundance of energy, like you and like Derek, who you just can't hold it in. You got to give it out to other people because there's too much in just for you and just for your family. There's, God blessed you with this abundant amount of energy and passion that it's too large to hold for just a small group of people. And I love to see, and a lot of people do hold it in. They hold it in a selfish, greedy manner. You expand that out, brother. And I love that about you. I love that. I mean, the legacy you're leaving when you do shit like that, it's you can't even. It's not countable. It's not countable. I sound real smart. It's not very countable. You know, it's you know what I mean. It's just it's beyond
weird stuff all the time too, bro.
I know that's okay. Yeah, I know. I don't let. That's why I don't edit my podcast. I just let it go.
I appreciate that you said it again, though. It's not the easiest thing to be energized, right? So I'll tell you a funny story with that camp, actually. So we're sitting around the table. My kids, they know about the background I come from. So they're like, hey, Dad, how can we help kids like you who couldn't afford a sports camp and this and that? How can we do something like that? So that's where it started off. And then it kind of transformed into conversations with local businesses in the area, my local church. And so I had this meeting with the local church 8 years ago. And we're sitting down and, I made these plans to put this thing together. I made it happen at that meeting. And I come home and my wife's like, hey, babe, where you been? And I'm like, babe, I got some good news, And she's like, oh, God, what did you do? And I said, babe, you're going to be the camp director. And she's like, wait, what? She goes, we just literally had a conversation, just a simple conversation. So we're actually doing this, yeah, we're going to do this. It's going to be great. It's going to have to change. She's just like, oh my God, what are you doing to me? But it's fun, and it does fill me up. It does energize me to do those types of things. And, I am very blessed because in the end, my wife and my family support my crazy lunatic ideas all the time.
Well, I think what you're teaching Dante and Ava too is one of the most immeasurable treasures you can teach them. Is that we're put on this earth not just to benefit ourselves, but to benefit others, and those people turn on to benefit more people. I think if there are people out there listening saying, "Oh man, I love what Geno's doing," I don't have the resources or the knowledge or the opportunity right now to start something like that. But here's what you can do: you can just practice random acts of kindness to people. One of the things that has helped me so much lately, I put a goal in place about a year ago to practice 3 random acts of kindness a week. And it could just be holding a door for somebody, commenting on someone's, hair, or making sure I call the clerk at the gas station by their name and saying, have a great day. I appreciate you. Then I went up to 7 times a week, and I just practice 7 a week. And what I find, and I actually track it. I'm a nerd. I track shit like that. And I make sure I count 7 because it's one of the 32 things I have to do every week as a person to continue to grow. And that's one of them. But when I try to track 7, I always find that I get to 7 like by Wednesday. And now it's just habitual. So every time I go into a store, I'm like, hey, like today I was in the store and there was a lady, I had a bunch of stuff and there's a lady behind me, an older lady with one thing. And I pushed my stuff aside, said, let her go first. And I've paid for people's groceries behind his premises. Good people should have more money so they can do better things for other people. That's kind of his premise. I'm like, what a great way to look at money, where you're not making money just to make yourself wealthier and have more things, but you're also making money so you can make the world a better place and help other people. I mean, that's good shit, man.
Yeah, I'm with you, B. I just so I became recently a board member actually for our school district. So it's an elected position, and you don't get paid, obviously, but a lot of people say, man, why would you do something like that? Don't you have enough things to do? And I said, well, I serving kids. I never am too busy to serve kids. How about that? So now that would be my 3 for you, when it comes to the mind energized. And let's get into the body section, because I think there's some good.
You got anything for a cough? You
need the Heimlich over there?
I think I do, and I'm all alone. My dog's not even here to save me anymore. Oh my God! No, I took a drink of my water and went down the wrong pipe. Woo!
Yeah, right.
I got all choked up on you serving people and the love in your heart, man.
I love it.
So I'm going to recap those for everybody. So Geno's 3 major tools he uses to keep his mind energized is meditation and prayer, self-positive talk, and love in his heart. So those are great. Excuse me. You got me choked up, brother.
We're gonna have a lot more of those choked up sessions here.
Now I want to know how the hell you get the 6-pack abs. So let's talk about your body now.
Yeah, let's do it. Man, so I don't know where or why I really started focusing on the body portion, but I think it stems back to when I was an athlete, and just getting certain things from coaches, getting ideas, getting tips, and then just researching on my own as I get older, because the things that you do as a kid or a younger person, obviously they don't affect your body as much as you get older. I'll be 44 next in 2 weeks. So
you're catching
up. Not getting any younger, brother. And so the first thing that I like to look at, man, when I put food into my body is non-GMO food sources. So GMO, I don't know if you know, it stands for genetically modified organisms. And basically that's just saying food that's made in a lab. Right. So just trying not to put those types of foods in my body just as much as possible. And really trying not to put any unprocessed food if possible. So, and what's really difficult about that is unprocessed food is really hard to come by. So that could be anywhere from canning to freezing food, stuff like that, right? That's processed food. So how do you keep that from not getting into your body? And then the big one, man, and this is another tough one. And I'm not going to say these are easy because it's really hard. Try going to the store looking for non-GMO food sources, non-unprocessed food. And then this third one, staying away from soybean oil, corn oil, sunflower oil, and canola oil. Those are hard, brother. You go to the grocery store, a normal grocery store, half the things in there are poison. So it's tough, right? And I'm not saying it's easy. We go to the store and my wife and I, we just laugh about stuff that we're like, God, man, we'd really like to eat that, but what's in there, So it just doesn't make sense for us to put it in our body. So those are the 4 oils that I really try to stay away from.
So what were they? Were soybean, corn, canola, and
sunflower.
And was corn in there too?
Yep. Okay. Yep. Soybean oil, corn oil, sunflower.
Okay. So you're good with like avocado spray.
Yeah. Avocado spray is okay. Extra virgin olive oil is probably the go-to.
Yeah.
If you can do the go-to, that it would be the extra virgin olive oil.
Yeah. I have that. That's what I use. I don't really cook much. What I eat, is a shit ton of fruit. Like literally I eat a bag of grapes every 2 days, probably 5 oranges a day, a couple grapefruits, a couple apples, and a banana every day. And I eat a lot of tuna fish, which I got to get away from that because I don't like the fact that there's mercury in the tuna fish. Yeah. I eat chicken. And then I love my ice cream, man.
Oh man.
And I gotta tell you this, my cousin sent me a box of Christmas cookies. She does about every year. She's a lovely lady. I'm sure she's listening. And she sent me a box of Christmas cookies, and I literally got it, I think, the day before my dog died. And I was going to bring it home to everybody when I went to my mother's house for Christmas when my kids were all there and everything. And after Chloe died, my son left the next day, and I'm like, those cookies look pretty damn good. So I literally between Thursday and Sunday when I left to go home for Christmas or Saturday, I ate all 30 cookies dunked in almond milk. I drink almond milk. And I ate every single damn cookie. And they were the best Christmas cookies I've ever had. But man, so there are times that I do what you do a lot. I'm a very finicky eater. But then when I go off, I'll go way off like that. I'll eat 30 cookies in 2 days, or I'll eat like 12 Reese cups in a day. And then brother, you're human, man. I know, but we do. I know, but I'm 57 and next month. I got to make sure I got to tighten it up a little bit more.
Man, you don't want to put carbs near me. I'm telling you. So an extra large pizza, I will crush that in the matter of 15 minutes without even blinking. Yeah, my family they're just like, you are such a hog, and I am. I can't explain how much food I consume. But when it comes to, believe me, when it comes to pasta or pizza, carbs like that, brother, I will tear that dude up, but I try not to.
Oh, dude. You put a pizza in front of me, keep your fingers away from my face. 'Cause I'm like a rabid damn dog, man. I'll take 3 or 4. I could eat pizza. I don't get full. I feel like when I finally feel like I'm full, I'm actually sick to my stomach. I've eaten so much pizza. Pizza's my go-to. I love pizza. I love pizza.
It was funny. My daughter had us over about a month ago, and I like to be a goofball sometimes, and so her friends are sitting in the kitchen, and we have pizza, and I was trying my hardest to stay away from it. My wife's like, you want some, and I'm like, all right, I just gotta do it. So the girls were all watching, and I said, girls, you ever seen how to truly eat pizza? Like, do you know how to eat pizza for real? And they're like, no, I don't. So I show them, you fold that sucker in half, and you literally take the biggest bite, and then one more, and it's 2 bites, and the slice is gone. And they were like, what the? And they said, then my daughter, right? She knows me, so she's like, "That's my pops, man. My pops, that's my pops."
You know what? What helps me with eating better, and this is a good tool for a lot of people, is if you have the opportunity. I shop at Walmart, but I don't go into Walmart. I do the online, and then I go. They either deliver it. They used to deliver it. Now I just go pick it up. It's a couple miles away, and then I go on there and it just says your items, and I click yep, and I don't ever have and when I do go in, I circle the outside of every store, because that's where your vegetables, your fruit, your produce, and your meat are. Right. If you go in the inner aisles, that's where you got your potato chips and all your crap, your Twinkies and all that. Mm-hmm. I don't even go buy that stuff, because if I'm hungry and I go buy it, I'm getting it. But now I barely ever go into a store. I order online. I go there, they call them, they come out, put it in my Jeep, and off I go. And that saves me a shit ton of carbs and sugar and processed foods and the GMOs. I don't get it, because it's never in my cart on my app. So that's a good one.
Man, I think you're right. Another thing, another idea for you, B. I've recently started adding in, shopping at different types of manufacturers. So, we love beef jerky. So if you can find a non-GMO, very healthy, high in protein beef jerky that's kind of off the market, off the shelf type of thing, just go to their website and buy that instead of buying that at King Soopers. Or, we have King Soopers here. I think you guys have, what is it, Smith's or Meyer?
We have Meyer here, in Michigan.
Yeah,
I love Meyer.
Yeah. So I'll buy stuff offline of people that I trust, and start doing it that way. It's a little more pricey that way for sure. But how I look at it, B, is you're going to pay for it no matter what. You got to pay for it in food, right? Like you pay for it now, or you pay for it when you're retired with your medical bills.
Right on. I couldn't agree more. You know what the best thing to do? Shoot your own damn food.
Oh man.
Heck yeah.
My son Dawson shot a buck this fall. On my daughter's property, shot a nice little buck, and I wasn't there. I don't even know if I was I think I was traveling, but he brought it in, and he gutted it, and then my son-in-law skinned it and processed it all right at their house. So we've had hamburgers, he's got back straps, and everything's right there. There's nothing in it that we don't want. There's no chemicals, no GMOs, there's nothing in it. It's just it came right it was in the swamp one day, and the next day it was on the table. And hamburger, and it was my son-in-law made the best hamburger I've ever had, best burger I've ever tasted in my life with that. And I know what he put in it. He would grind it right in front of me. So that so non-GMO foods, unprocessed, no processed.
That's my base, right? So I forgot to say that. So the fuel for the body, that's going to be the base. So non-GMO, unprocessed food as much as possible, and then sticking to extra virgin olive oil if you can.
Okay.
So that's going to be my base. So now we'll get into the 3 things here. So morning routine, man, that is my go-to. No matter where I'm at, if I have to travel to Germany for my job every once in a while. I've been to the UK, I've been to South America. So even when I go to these places, I still have my morning routine intact. And what that consists of is my internal alarm goes off anywhere between 5:20 and 5:30 a.m. every morning, man. I don't even have to set an alarm. It just goes off. So I wake up at that time, no matter where I'm at. Okay. Even if I go to bed late, which isn't very often, but there is the occasion where, hey, it's New Year's Eve. You want to stay up till midnight to watch the New Year come in. You know, you go to bed at midnight or whatever. I still wake up at 5:30. It's just how it is.
You know what I was doing at midnight this New Year's Eve?
What were you doing?
I was swimming in an ice cold lake.
Hey, look at you!
I did three. So that day on New Year's Eve, I did two cold plunges, two cold swims in Michigan, and in Lake Algonquin Lake, I guess it's called. And then I told my buddy, I said, I'm going to do one at midnight this year. That's my celebration. Well, I ended up falling asleep. He came over and woke me up. I think he and his wife were up. He woke up. Hey, you said you're going to do that plunge. I'm like, shit. So I literally got up at midnight, threw my wet shorts on, put a towel on or a jacket, walked down. He sat there. He recorded me. I walked in. I did a plunge, and it was cold as you could possibly imagine. So anyway, that was what I was doing at midnight this year, doing a cold plunge.
For you, B, do you have any photos from that? Maybe you could send me.
I'll send you one when we get off the recording here. I'll send you one. I've got a couple pictures from that.
One of our good friends, you and my friend, John Live, he sent me a video of him. And man, when I need a good laugh, I look at this video because his son was taping him. And they have a lake house that's way up in Canada.
It's in Canada, yeah.
Canada. Yeah. And he jumps off the rock, and I can't remember the temperature of the water, but it was cold. And he let out a woo, and I just, every time I need a good laugh, I watch Johnny Live jump into that lake. It pleases me very much so.
You'll have to give me a copy of that video because I got to shoot him a text here any day. I had that my mind to give him a text here quickly. So. So you get up at 5:20, 5:30, your routine.
Yep. I wake up, man. I do my workout. Okay. Before I do my workout, I fill up a nice glass of water. I pound that sucker. Because when you sleep, man, you lose so much fluids in your body. You're typically dehydrated a little bit when you wake up. So I slam some water. I do my workout. My workout consists of it just depends on the day. So one day I'll break it down to, I always do core. So I think for me personally, it's really important to keep my core strength. Just because I still do. I mean, I told you I help teach my daughter her back handspring. So I got to have a strong core. So I do core every day, and then I break it down per muscle group, but I don't do heavyweight. I stopped heavyweight altogether. So I'll do like chest one day, biceps and shoulders the next, and then triceps, and then I mix it in there. I sprinkle in the legs portion too. And my workout, I mean, this is a 6 day a week routine. So I skip one day when it comes to working out. And the only reason I do that is because I promised my wife that I will bring her coffee in bed and we'll sit there on Sundays and chill and talk. So
you're a good man.
Yeah. So it's one day out of the week that I don't do it. So I do my workout in after the water, and then that's when I would do my breath work in between the sets when I'm working out. So breath work, so I could go into breath work like you wouldn't believe, but are you familiar when I say breath work?
Oh yeah.
Are you familiar with that? Okay.
I'm not sure everybody in the audience is though. So you want to give a little action? I
mean, I guess the simple way of describing my breath work is I inhale very aggressively 30 times. So it literally, like if you could see me, my diaphragm is going up, right? If you think of like your belly button, act like you're pulling your belly button in and you're pushing your rib cage up. So you're breathing in really deep as if like that's the first breath you've ever taken after you've been underwater for 2 minutes. Okay, you feel me so far?
Yep.
So I do 30 of those 3 sets in between sets of my workout. Now, you're not going to wake up tomorrow and be in it you're not going to be able to do 30 reps, 3 sets right away. You might be able to do 5 reps of 3 sets. But it takes a while to work yourself up to 30. Now, I do want to give your audience a heads up. So when you're doing this, their last breath, okay, the last inhale, very aggressively, very, very, deep breath, you're going to hold that sucker. And when you hold it, you're going to think about something else besides holding your breath, because that's where our human brain wants to go. It wants to go into fight or flight mode. Like, what's the problem and how do I fix it? Well, the problem is you're holding your breath. How do I fix it? I'm going to breathe. So that's the last thing you're going to think about. What I want you to think about on that last breath, and believe me, when you do 30 reps, it's pretty intense. So you're going to hold it as long as you can, and you're going to just focus on anything. Maybe it's the car outside that drove by your house. You're going to focus on that car. Maybe it's a bird chirping. Maybe it's a creak in your house. Whatever it is, dude, focus on something completely different besides letting that breath out. Now, you're going to feel lightheaded, and your fingertips may go numb, your toes might go numb, but it's all part of the process. And then you're going to slowly let it out, dude. And that teaches your body. You're going to feel amazing after you do that, by the way, because you just went from the most uncomfortable state of mind to the most comfortable. You feel me?
Yeah. No, do you do that before you work out?
I do it during my workout. So let's say it's chest day. So I get in 2 sets, and then I prepare myself for 30 reps of breath work. So I'm like, okay, here we go, right? Self-talk. Here we go. Positive self-talk, man. You got this. And then I get to it. And it's amazing what it will do. But I highly recommend don't try to go 30 on your first time. Maybe go 5 reps.
Okay.
Or something like that. Yeah. And then work your way up, right? But start small and work your way big.
Love it.
Yeah. So then after my workout, though, that's when I would do my head down time, my prayer time. And then, man, here comes the craziness, right? So later on in the day, it's got to be in the morning, though, because I want to try to make my body uncomfortable. So I go outside, I take off my shirt, and it's cold as balls outside, and the sun is shining on my chest, and I get that light exposure. Brother, I get that light exposure to my body and just soak up the vitamin D. Now, I live in a spot where we have 300 days of sunlight. Right?
Yeah, where do you, Denver, Colorado, where you live, do you know?
Yeah, so born and raised in Denver, Colorado. Actually, right now it's 65 degrees out, and I don't think I see a single cloud in the sky. So it is kind of Kool-Aid, right? It's a little easier for me to do that than people that live in the UP or Michigan or something like that, the Midwest, where it's you don't get the sunlight like that. But man, if you can get light exposure like that, it's amazing what it'll do. And people will be like, oh man, it's so cold outside, or it's raining. You know what? We're going to survive. If we can go outside for 15 minutes and make this happen, I promise you're not going to die. You're going to be okay.
Here's the thing, we don't have that. You're right, but we do have things. Yeah. I call them happy lamps. You can buy those sun. I have one right in front of me on my desk, literally right now. I bought one for my mother, my daughter, and my son for Christmas like 3 years ago. And I was at my mom's a month or so ago, and I said, "Mom, do you ever use this?" She goes, "No, I don't really use that." Mm-hmm. She said, "Take it." So I took it, and I've been using it this week. 20 minutes. I sit at my desk. I turn it on for 20 minutes while I'm doing paperwork or talking to a client. And 20 minutes later, it's off. And I haven't seen the benefit yet. It's only been a few days, but I know they work because I did the research before I bought these ones. They're like $35. You just go down and put, I don't know what they're called. I call them a happy lamp.
Yeah, man. They make different types of mats that you can lay on that gives you the UVs like that. If you really want to get jiggy with it, you can get a bed that you can lay in, but they're crazy expensive. But man, if you can get sunlight exposure, the natural sunlight, it does wonders. It really does.
Well, so, like 2 weeks ago, I did the infrared, 45 minutes in an infrared booth, and it was kind of a sauna infrared booth. It got up to 120, I think, in there slowly, but it was all the different colors of the sun. It was infrared. I was sweating my ass off when I was in there, but it was, I walked out of there and I'm like, I just started guzzling water and I felt so relaxed.
Infrared is amazing. It can fix a lot of things. It really can. And if I don't have an infrared system yet, but I will be getting one here real soon because just for simple aches and pains or whatever, it's really good for stuff like that.
I want my next place to have a sauna, infrared, and a cold plunge.
Yeah.
You know what my buddy did? I know you have a hard stop here in a little bit, but my buddy did it. He's from Sweden, or from Finland, pardon me. Okay. His name is Sami. And I was at his house the night of Dawson's graduation party, it'll be 3 years ago now, in June. We went over to his house after the party, and he was my neighbor, good friend of mine. He goes, "Hey, come in and jump in my plunge with me." So I go in his garage. He had a chest freezer. He bought like a used one. It was all rusty on the outside. A chest freezer, like the kind you put food in. And he filled it with water, and he keeps it at 34 degrees.
Love that.
And you plunge in there. He goes, "In Finland, first time you go in here and can stay for a minute, you are a god." And I'm like, "Oh, I could do a minute. That's not up." So I jumped in there, and I was hyperventilating. He's like, "Hey, calm down. So I did like a minute and 3 seconds. And after a minute 3, I jumped out. He jumped in there and sat for 3 minutes. It was like he was sitting in a lazy boy chair. And that's so good for your body.
It's amazing for your body. And that would be my number 2, actually, is the cold plunge. So you're right. You can, people are like, "Oh man, I can't invest $2,000 in a cold plunge machine or whatever." You don't have to. Go fill up your bathtub full of cold water and rock and roll, right? Or even just take a cold shower. After you take a warm shower, it does amazing things to your body and to your mind. And because here's the thing, B, this is what I firmly believe. I feel like, as you get older, as you make more money, you pursue comfortable things, right? Like think about your bed. Think about the bed that you had in college versus the bed that you have now, right? Because now you can afford to pay for a nice bed. Well, when you go to a hotel room now, you sleep in their bed and you don't sleep very well because you're so used to your comfortable bed. So if you're constantly looking for ways to make comfort out of your life, you're going to get old quickly.
Very quick.
You're going to get really soft. You're going to get really old very quickly. Yeah, I'm fully admit, man, I do the same thing. I'm not as hard as I used to be, but I try to do things like a cold plunge or a cold shower, things that I hate to do. Go out in the cold and take my shirt off. Like I don't like to do that, but I try to do that so that I don't get old. I don't get fragile.
I agree. I take a cold shower every day. I do this, what you said. I do the regular shower, and then I rinse off with ice cold water. I take it as cold as I can get wherever I am at, wherever it's cold as it will go. And then I stay there for, 2-3 minutes. And after a while, I go on my face and head first, because when you get your face and head cold first, then the rest of your body can acclimate more effectively. And I do that, and then I rinse my body off, and I put it on my shoulder and my neck, and I go back to my face. And what I've heard, and I've heard people who are much older who have been doing this for years, it keeps the wrinkles off you, and it keeps your skin thicker. Your skin does not get that thin. When you get older, you get your skin gets much thinner. So anyway.
Yep.
So yeah, you don't have to have a cold plunge or a lake around you, folks. You can just take your cold, take a shower. Then when you're done, start off with 15 seconds of cold, and then go to 20, then 25, until you can get to 2 or 3 minutes of cold shower on you. It's not that bad, actually. When you get done, you feel like $1 million.
You do, man. And I don't know about you, but my joints feel good.
Yeah.
For get out of them. And some people, which if you really wanted to do it right, probably you would do that before you work out. Yeah. Personally, I don't. I just don't like it a lot. It just doesn't connect with me. I don't want to. I want to push myself to do something uncomfortable, but not to the point where I dread doing it. You know what I mean? So a lot of people will do the cold plunge before they work out, and then they naturally heat their body up, and that's really good for you. But I typically do. I do it the cheater way, and I do it after.
Yeah. I did a cold plunge. I was out in Park City, Utah, 2 years ago. Right now, like February of 2 years ago.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, and I did. We did a spa day, and I chose we went off. We did a couples massage, then I went off on my own and did an hour of sauna, cold plunge, sauna. You'd wait. I think it was 3 or 5 minutes. Then you do 5 minutes in the cold water, And then you go, wait 5 minutes, do 5 minutes in the sauna, wait 5 minutes, go. And it was like you just submerge yourself right up to your neck in this, I think it was like 38-degree water. And I got done with that, and we went and had pizza and a beer, and I felt like I was stoned out of my mind. I was so happy, so relaxed. I'm like, this is the greatest feeling in the world. I could do this every day. But it was uncomfortable. I mean, getting that cold water after you've been in the sauna was really cold. It was pretty intense, but
it is, man. It is, but it works. And man, if your audience could do one thing, I would say just try it and try it for 30 days and see what you think.
And again, and folks, don't do 2 or 3 minutes if you do it. Do 15 seconds. Then the next day, do to 18. Just go up every day till you're to the point where you could acclimate. I hate it every day. I hate every day when I go from hot to cold in that shower. But after 5 or 6 seconds, I don't even. You're fine.
You are.
But it makes the. I mean, I got done today. I took a later shower today because I had a lot of appointments early this morning. I had 7 coaching sessions starting really early this morning, and I took my shower in the afternoon, and then I ran to the store. And then I came back to do the podcast. And I was driving the store going, I feel like $1 million right now. And it was because I just took that cold shower. I just got out and you feel energized. So I don't mean to interrupt you, but
so. No, that's great. I love hearing that, B. So that would be my second one, my brother, would be the cold plunge. And then the third one, which some of your audience might already be doing this, they just don't know, is anywhere between a 14 and 16 hour intermediate fast. Every single day. I do that on a daily basis, even my off days. And it's not that hard, man. It might seem like, hey, that's a long time. But think about it. If you eat dinner, let's just say you eat dinner at 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, 14 hours ahead, it's going to be 7 a.m. Right. So between 7 and 9 a.m., that's when you would eat breakfast. Okay. And you finished your dinner at 5 p.m. And I mean nothing, right? Like you can put water in your body, but try not to put anything. And it's amazing what your body will do. So here's what happens really. Why do this, right? So when you put food in your body, okay, the food contains glucose, which is basically fuel that feeds your cells. Okay. Mm-hmm. You following me?
Yeah.
Well, that glucose also feeds what's called zombie cells. And what zombie cells are just the old, damaged, those lingering cells that really don't give you any useful life anymore. And the reason why those are bad is because the zombie cells actually release toxins that can speed up your aging process. It can promote onset arthritis. It can promote cancer, dementia, a lot of things, right? So there's the 2 different cells, the good cells and the zombie cells that you're feeding. So when you fast, you actually cut off the supply of glucose, right? That's feeding the cells, and it's starving those zombie cells. You following me?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it destroys all their powers. Okay. Plus, with your good cells, inside those good cells, sometimes there's normal wear and tear on those. It repairs the wear and tear as you starve your body with that glucose. Now, it's not damaging anything because when you actually eat food, your body will store fat. Basically, it'll store fat in your organs. And so when food is scarce, that fat is basically sent to your liver, and it's turned into alternative fuel sources, which is called ketone. Okay. And so you're going to survive. You might be hungry, but you're going to survive, but it's killing all those zombie cells. Okay. And so it's promoting really good things in your body. And trust me, man, like I said before, if you just try this for 30 days, yeah, you know what? Maybe the first week you do this, first 2 weeks, you might be a little hangry at first. If you're one of those people that get hangry, that's okay. Fight that off a little bit. But man, you might get so used to it that it's not even hard at all. For me, I don't even think about it. It doesn't even cross my mind. We eat dinner at 5:30, and it's so easy for me not to eat till 9 a.m. the morning. It's very, very easy.
Would you include coffee in that, Geno?
You know what? Technically, yes, you would. So that would be my break is, so right about 7:30, I do have a cup of coffee.
Okay. So that's not, you wouldn't consider like putting a food in your body.
Technically you would be breaking your fast if you're doing that, but I don't put anything in my coffee. It's completely black. So it's probably pretty close to not breaking your fast.
Yeah.
But yeah, so typically it's anything except water. So you don't put anything in your body but water.
So I kind of do. I don't eat. I eat usually about 4:00. I eat something light at 4:00. Then I don't eat breakfast till usually around 9 or 10. But I always make I drink my water in the morning. Then I drink my coffee. But I put collagen protein in my coffee. I wonder what that would be. Maybe I should wait till later to do the collagen protein.
Yeah. So that's technically breaking your fast.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. That's good to know.
But you know what? Try it without. Just see if you can last at least until like 7:30. Let's just say. Yeah. Especially if you're eating dinner at 4. I mean, that's 15 hours right there, isn't it?
Yeah, 15.
Yeah, 15 hours.
Yeah.
And so, so if you can wait till like 7, brother, to do that, I think. I mean, you're probably okay to start eating and drinking whatever you want at that time.
I'm never even hungry till like 9 or 10 in the morning. I don't even get hungry till then. My first thing I eat is a banana. That's the first thing I normally eat when I do eat is a banana. And then I have a little lunch around 11.
That's why you look the way you look, my brother.
Yeah, you haven't seen me lately, brother. I've had a lot of ice cream. I had a lot of ice cream this winter. Those 30 cookies are really catching up to me now. They didn't catch up to me right away. I looked in the mirror the next day. I said, I still look good.
It's funny though, because you do have to have a cheat too. Honestly, like I might sound like I'm real hard right now, but honestly, food is my vice. Yeah, I'm not. I'll have a beer whenever. It doesn't really. I don't really crave alcohol, but when it comes to like if it's a chocolate, whatever. Oh man, come on. It's hard not to say yes to that. So I do have my cheat days but man, this 14 to 16 hour fast is no joke. It's going to change the way you feel, the way you look. It's going to change the whole aging process. It's amazing what it does to your body.
I like that. One of the things you talked about in our last podcast that I think about you every single time I do cardio is that you get your heart rate up to 150 for about 15 minutes a day for 3 or 4 days a week.
Yep.
And so whenever I'm rowing, running, or hiking, and hiking's tough, unless I have my rucksack, my ruck bag on, and then that's a little easier to get my heart rate up to 150. But when I'm rowing, I'm always like, because I look at my Apple Watch, I'm 138, I got to get up to 150. Then I think of you literally every time I do cardio. That damn Geno made me get my heart rate to 150. I'm like, at 149, I got to go a little harder to get to 150. And I never keep it up unless I'm running, it'll stay up there for, 20, 25 minutes. But, rowing, it's hard to get it up to 150 for an extended period of time. And so is when you're hiking. It's just, you get it up there if I run hills with my rucksack on, but then it goes back down to like 135 for the rest of the hike, But I the gist of what you were saying stuck with me.
It's amazing. And I include that as part of my workout, right? So if I really went into detail with my workout, I would have went through that portion of it. But it's actually pretty easy for me to get my heart rate up that high that many times a week for that long a period of time because I still play basketball actively.
Yeah.
And basketball is an endurance sport. It really is, especially when you play with good players like my son. I'm going to keep up with him and really challenge him, I got to push myself. And like sometimes I'll push myself to where I'm seeing dots everywhere, right? And I'm like, oh, geez. But it's worth it because I feel great afterward, just not during the time,
Right. No, I get that. I'm like that a lot of times, but well, hey, I know you have a hard stop here in a few minutes. So is there any final thought you want to leave with the audience? I mean, you've given, I want to just, let's recap the 3 things you do to keep your body energized. no GMO foods, keep away from unprocessed foods, try to stick with extra virgin olive oil, cold plunges or cold showers, folks. I can attest to that one. It's so powerful. And then try to, 14 to 16 hour intermediate fast every day. Eat at 5. Try not to eat again until 9 o'clock in the morning, 8 or 9 in the morning. So those are your 3 body things. Any final thoughts at all?
B, I'll go back to what I said in episode 25 when you were so gracious to have me on that episode. And in that episode, I said the human brain can accomplish just about anything, right? How many times have you heard the story of the little old lady who moves a car off of a pregnant woman because, her brain told her, I can move this car, right? Mm-hmm. Well, it's true. It's very true. We have these powers to do crazy things with our bodies and our minds. And so if there's anything in this list, I said this at the beginning of the podcast, if you could take 1 or 2 of these items that I gave you, not all, I don't expect you to implement all of these, but if you could implement 1 or 2 of these things and really put your brain power behind it, I promise, man, you are going to change and you're going to want even more. And that's how I started, right? I did one thing, then I went to the next and the next, and now I'm way out of control with stuff. Just the things that I put myself through, but I do it because I enjoy it to a certain extent, right? I like the results. Right. I love the results. Well, you are very strong as a human being. We were made to be strong and to do hard things, period.
I agree. We were not made to sit around watching Netflix and eating Cheetos.
Nah,
not at all.
No, not at all, my brother. And I hope that somebody in your audience can do that. And maybe they write you back and say, you know what, Brian, you're right. This has changed my life. I would love to hear that story.
I want to ask everybody, please, whoever tries 1 or more of these things, please shoot me a text, an email, send me a card or a letter. I don't care how the hell you get a hold of me. Let us know how it's working for you. Because I can guarantee I do, 5 of these things, I guess, on a consistent basis. I mean, I do them all, but not as well, not as consistent as Geno does. And they have made a dramatic difference in my body and mostly my mind. And that's where I notice it most, because your body affects your mind and your mind affects your body. So these are they interplay so well together. Brother, I hope you know how much I love you.
Brother, I love you so much, man.
You are the man.
I am so honored, humbled, and blessed to be here. Thank you for making me a part of, what is it, 112 you said?
This is episode 112, yes.
112. And man, I hope I did you justice, and I look forward to our next conversation, my brother.
You rocked it. You rocked it, brother.
Awesome.
I love you, man.
Love you, man. Have a great day, brother.
You too. Get out there and do your thing, man. I'll talk to you tomorrow. I'll shoot you a call tomorrow.
All right, brother.
See you, brother. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, everyone. Hey, that was Geno Lechuga, a good friend of mine. Thank you for tuning in again today. We will be back again in a week with more amazing guests like Geno. But I'm going to recommend, please get out there and try some of these things. I can attest these things work, and they don't cost any money. I mean, I know if you avoid kind of the processed food thing, you might pay a little more money for fruits and vegetables, but it's negligible. It really is. And honestly, those types of foods fill you up more. The quality, high quality foods fill you up more, so you don't eat as much anyway. So in the end run, it's probably about the same amount of money. Everything else is free. Do it. Change your life. It's the beginning of 2024. Let's make this the best damn year you've had yet. I love you all, and I appreciate you all. Please get out there and strive, love, and live.